What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host RT, and today we will be taking a look at an arcade one-up machine. Now, I made some modifications to mine, and I'm going to go over mine with you just to show you some of the modifications I've made to it to maybe give you some inspiration how you can turn your standard arcade one-up into this right here. Now, I'll go over it real quick with you, the control panel. All right, so everything on my control panel, with the exception of these two buttons here, or these two rockers, is custom. I put new buttons in there. I trade off the old buttons because, you know, I didn't like the way the old ones felt. And I changed both of the sticks. Now I'm going to show you later on in the video. I'm going to pop this control panel off, and I'm going to show you how I got mine set up. Mine is running on a Jamma harness. And what that means, I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is the Jamma harness right here. And I know it can be intimidating, but this is how I got my wiring set up. So you don't have to opt for an expensive, at least I didn't opt for an expensive Brooks converter or anything for the controllers. I just wanted to go with a simple standard Jamma harness. And just to give you a quick look, this is what it looks like. This is the part that plugs into your gaming device, and I'll show you that later on. And these two right here, these are for your 1-player, 2-player controllers, and the buttons down here are for your start, select, and stuff like that. Now you can get these for about 20 bucks off Amazon, and they come with instructions. Okay, so it tells you, and you can look online. There's a lot of online tutorials as well that show you the color coding, but I'm going to show you real quick how mine's is set up. And you can find that it has, tells you where to put your 1-player, how to hook it to your game board, and I'll show you that in back. And you can mess it up, but it's real hard to do. I mean, you can put stuff. The worst case, once you put the Jamma harness connector in, and I'll show you how to do that. The buttons, if you mess up a button or something, no big deal. You can mess it up, but it's no big deal. You push the button, you're just going to get the wrong button in the wrong place. That's all. So there, it's not a big deal. And there's plenty of tutorials, and each one comes with instructions. All right. So to know what Jamma is basically what they use in old arcade systems. Okay. If arcades from the 80s, 90s, 70s, they had basically that Jamma board connected to your game board inside, and it ran all your power, it ran all your buttons, it ran everything on the machine pretty much. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I got mine hooked up in the back. So this video also is, like I say, it's an inspiration for you to, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to fix it. Now my machine, another recommendation while I'm talking about the control panel, I opted to get an arcade one-up with 6 buttons. And the reason I did that was because I want to be able to play everything. So most standard arcade games don't go higher than 6 buttons. All your fighting games usually have six buttons, like this one does. Your Neo Geos have 4 buttons, and your simple shooters might have 2 to 3 buttons. Okay, and some only have 1. So with this one, you can pretty much play anything you want in the arcade. That was arcade. Also, another thing to note about this arcade machine is that it's a 5x4, so it's like a square. Okay, and most arcades are 4x3. This one's 5x4. This screen, and it accepts HDMI. I'm gonna show you how to hook that up as well. And it's just an LCD screen, that's all. So pretty much this isn't really designed for you to play all your newer games that take a 16:9 widescreen. This is more designed for old retro games. Now, as you can tell, just to get a little history about it, when I bought this machine, I bought it stock. I opted for the deluxe edition. You don't have to do that. You can get you can find these cheap now. You can get them for I've seen some 125 bucks, $200 for some. Because unfortunately, what happens with these machines, a lot of people get buyer's remorse. They'll go out and buy one and say, oh yeah, it's great. And then a week or two later, they don't play it, and it just kind of sits there. So for mine, I was kind of like, well, you know what? I got mine had online capability, and it had like 12 or 13 games stock. I was like, I'm not, because I paid full price for this machine. Okay, it's a deluxe edition machine. I didn't catch the sale. So I figured, if I'm gonna have this machine, why not make it into a mini multicade? This thing, my machine plays up to 3,000 games, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna show you the machine, and then I'll show you how to operate your gaming system you have on there, because I recommend, what I got inside mine is a Pandora box. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, guys, we're at the control panel right now, and what I've done off screen, I've taken out the screws. There's 4 screws in there, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. They're Phillips screws. Once you get that out, if yours is already put together, I'm assuming it's already put together. You just pull up on these, and this comes out like this, right? And you gotta be careful with it. Don't force it. Just kind of pull it out nice and gentle. and it rocks back. Now, it's nothing to hold it. If I let go of this, it's going to fall to the floor, so don't let go of yours. And I'll give you a closer look at how I got my wire set. And don't make fun of my cable management. But anyway, all right, so this is going to give you an idea of what it looks like on the inside, right? So if you watch my Velux tutorial, you'll remember me putting how the buttons are connected. All right, so the buttons are all put in here. When you put a button in, it's got a little screw on it like this, okay? You screw it in, you tighten it in, and then remember how I said the Jamma harness was color-coded. So you're gonna have your colors here, and each one of these gets a black, just like in the Velux machine. Each button gets a black, and that's your ground. Now, you got these other set of teeth right here on the buttons, if you can see them. And what those are for, these are light up buttons, but light up LEDs. So if I was to hook like another cable to these, like something like this, and to power it, then these buttons would light up when I push them. But you know, I didn't feel like doing all that. So basically, it's the same thing with that as far as the harness goes. Now, when you get a harness, make sure you get the right size harness with the cables for your buttons. Okay, the HAP one, Suzu HAP buttons are tend to be bigger, so you're gonna need a bigger one. Make sure you get the right harness for your kind of buttons. These are 30mm buttons, so make sure you're getting the right size for your harness. So everything's color coded, and it goes right into the bottom. We'll take a closer look. Now, when I modified my joysticks, what I did was, this is your joystick, right? I had to redo the holes. I put them like, they just adjusted so that way when I did it, it would be flush like it's supposed to be here. So when I moved, I could move fully up and down, left and right, wherever I wanted to go with the stick, right? So you might have to make it might be slightly off, spaced off. You just got to bring it up, drill a hole. Now, when you drill your holes through here, be extra careful. Don't drill a hole through your board, because it's going to look crazy. And how do I know? If you look really close, I did that on mine like an idiot. So I think I was talking to somebody and zoop, and then, so it was real quick. So just be extra careful. You only need small screws to go through here. And that's pretty much it with the control panel, except for this part up here. Now, this is your sound, your volume. Mine isn't connected. Like I said, I got a external speaker on mine. Well, not external, it's inside. It's a sound bar. And this is for your volume, or for your power off and on. I got a toggle switch on mine, but I usually have mine plugged straight into the wall. I'll show you that later. But that's pretty much it for the control panel, guys. Now we're going to move around to the back. All right, guys, just to give you a zoom in and zoom out real quick. This is the back of the machine. Okay, and what it is, basically I've taken off the panels on the back. So it's like, I think it's like 6 screws that come off the back, depending on your machine. All right, and I'm going to zoom in real quick for you guys. And this is basically the back of the monitor, okay? Now, what I got going on in my machine, I opted to buy a converter, a card converter, and what it is, when you get these things stock, right, they're gonna come like this, and it's gonna come with the stock board that's on there. You gotta take that off, and then you can buy this replacement part right here on Amazon. It's gonna run you, I can't remember, but it's not that expensive, 20 something bucks, maybe $25. So you're up to, maybe if you get new sticks, 20, right now you're up to about 60 bucks if you get that, okay? But you're gonna need this, and what makes this thing significant? What makes this thing significant is, if you look close, right? So I'm gonna try to zoom in a little more. Right here, now let's once you hook it up, because it comes with pretty much instructions as well. And most parts that are on the original board are gonna plug right into this one, okay? So this right here is my HDMI, okay? I'll pull it out for you. This is my HDMI, okay? It'll go in here. This is gonna be the plug, the power to the monitor. It's coming out the monitor up here. It's gonna plug right up here. And you're gonna plug this is your power source, right? That goes to your power pack, and we're gonna look at that in a minute. Everything else you don't have to bother with, but this is how it's gonna look when it's done. And you gotta put your ground on there. I'm sorry, it's a ground and nut you gotta put right here. Okay. Now I have tape on the back of mine, and I have tape on my monitor, and the reason being is, if it's sitting, I don't want this thing to hit this and short out while it's on. So I covered up the back of and it's not gonna hurt it. I just got some electrical tape and some double-sided tape, just so that way, if it touches the metal for some reason, I don't run the risk of shorting out. Another thing while we're up here we have to look at this little tube, let me see if you can see it. Let me zoom it in for you guys. This part right here, this is the antenna that came with my machine. I'm not using it for anything. That's what this little adapter here is, or this little port right here is. I'm not using it, but this is for your internet signal. Okay. Now, if you want, you can save all the parts and if you ever want to revert it back to stock, you can save the parts, but I didn't bother because I'm not going back to what it was. This wire right here, and I wrapped it around, I'll take it off real quick, but this wire comes to your marquee. Now, you can see it, okay. This wire right here goes from your marquee. Now, you have to power your marquee, and the way it was powered before in the original board, it had a port, right? If I replaced this board, it didn't come with no kind of power source. So what I did, I took the marquee cord, cut it, and then there's 2 wires inside. Any kind of wire you cut, it's gonna be 2 wires. All I did was split it, put electrical tape in, and splice it. And what I spliced it to was the adapter at the bottom, and I'll show you the adapter. So we're gonna move down, okay, and we'll take a peek in there real quick. Give me a sec. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is the Pandora box, okay? And the Pandora box, that's pretty much it. You can get those for about, this version, this is an older version, so it comes, I think it came in at about $70. Okay, so now we're up to about $130 that you're in. This is the Jamma harness. Remember that Jamma harness I was telling you about? That blue one I showed you? It plugs in the side right here, okay? So you just plug it right in here like that. Up here on top of it, you can see this little button. That's gonna be to go into your menu settings, and you have a volume control rocker right there. It's kind of hard to see, but right there, a little volume control rocker. On the bottom, so let me go down to the bottom. Let's just scroll down some more. Okay. Now at the bottom, how I got mine set up. Okay, this is gonna be my VGA, or my HDMI. Sorry, I said VGA, but HDMI. So this is my HDMI cable right here. It goes in. It's HDMI port right here. And this is for my speakers. This goes to my sound. And I'll show you that in a second. On the side of mine, when I originally hooked it up, I had an amp in there, but I didn't like the way it sounded, so I just bypassed it altogether. But you can run it with amp speakers if you want. That's an option. And how's my stuff sticking to the side? I didn't drill holes in my machine. All I did was just put double-sided tape, and it holds pretty good. So going down to the bottom part, okay, let me back this up so you guys can see it. To the bottom. Sorry guys, I'm trying my best. Okay, so this is the bottom. This is what you got. Zoom in for you guys a little bit. Okay, so it's a big cluster of cables, but I'll show you what each one is. This is a power adapter, okay? And this right here, all you can get this is like another 10 bucks. Okay, you can get this from Amazon. That's where I got it from. And all my plugs go in there. And basically it's a long, like I think I got 10-foot cable. It runs out the back. So it's a hole in the back of my machine that I made. I made it a little bigger so I could put the wire through it. And what I got plugged in. So I have this right here, this USB port. Okay, goes up. This goes to my sound bar. The USB, the one I got to USB, goes to the sound bar, and the other end goes into the Pandora's box. This is a power adapter, and this adapter right here, this one's where I spliced. Now here's the settings on it. It is here. This is the one I got that's spliced into my This is the one I got that's spliced into my marquee light. Okay, so you can read the settings on it. Okay, so I got everything plugged in right here. And another main part that I want to show you guys is kind of important. You're going to need this. This is the power pack, okay? Arcade power pack, power supply they call it, and you can get this for probably about 30 bucks. So this is what powers your machine. So on the now these wires right here, they're all coming from the Jamma harness, and they're color coded, red, yellow, and they got, again, pictures online. So I'll show you how I got mine. I have the yellow running here, the white here, black. So basically hooking up your power, your ground, and everything else. And it says it on the side of the if you look here, you really can't see it, but it has on the side the labels showing you where to go. So you really just read where it goes and match it up, with your instructions that comes with your Jamma harness. So these are all Jamma harness connections. This right here, down here, you don't got to worry about these things. What if you're curious what they are? They're just if I want to run like a real Jamma arcade, if I want to run a CRT arcade, CRT monitor in here one day, which I never will, but this right here is basically a converter, okay? And what it does, and it's a transformer, ISO transformer, that's what it's called. And what that thing does is basically, once all the power is coming out of your TV up top, down here, it's going to convert it to a signal. So it's a transformer that pretty much converts and downscales the power that you're getting. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's how I got mine set up. So I'll put it back together off screen. I'll show you guys what it looks like and how to operate your menu when you're running your arcade machine. Real quick, I forgot to mention, let me show you this real quick. So this is basically the top of we're still at the back of the machine, but this is the top. This is the lip that's at the bottom. I'm gonna show you the sound bar I got. Now up top, I got the old speakers, but I didn't opt to use those because they sounded so crappy. So basically, you can put this in here, and this little speaker box I got. You can get one something like it. It's a USB speaker box, little sound bar, okay? And it's actually pretty loud. And I only paid like $12 for this thing, okay? It's a Thompson. You can get it off Amazon. It's got the little control knob on it, right? So whenever I want to adjust my game, I do have to have the back panel off and adjust it. But generally it tends to stay. Once I adjust it for settings, I usually keep it at one level. I don't really turn it up or down. I just kind of have it set. And once it's set, you're good to go. So how do I got mine set in? All it does, you put it inside like this. And mine just rests on top of I got my speakers here, right? If I put this to speaker, you can have the speakers facing out or down. I just put it up here. And then you can't see inside because it's the machine, but it fits perfectly in the front. Okay, so before you buy a speaker bar for yours, make sure you measure from here to here to make sure it's going to fit inside your arcade machine. Okay, so before we turn the machine on, I think it's something else that I need to tell you guys. Okay, before we turn the machine on, I think it's one more thing I got to tell you guys. Okay, now on the back of on the side of your Pandora box, right? You got this little button right here. Now, if you plug your Pandora box into your HDMI and the signal scrambled and you're getting lines or you're not getting the correct signal, you got to hold this button down. Okay, this little black button right here. You hold it down while you power on your Pandora's box. What that does, it changes the signal that this thing is going to output. So if you got VGA hooked up to it, and what you're going to have HDMI in this case, you got the option for VGA if you like. I went with HDMI. But because it just looks a better picture. But if you go VGA and it's not working, or you go HDMI like I am, it's not working, turn your machine off, hold this down, and then power back on your machine while holding the button down. It'll change hold it down for 3 seconds, it will change the resolution. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to tell you another function with this button is if the game's up and running, once you got your picture where it's supposed to be and you're getting the picture on your screen, whenever you want to go into the settings, you have to come back here and push this button to go into settings. So when I'm playing the arcade machine for you, just showing you, I'm going to show you how to go into the settings mode if you want to change options in there. But just know that what I did was while the machine was on and running, I ended up pushing this settings button. That's when I go back to the back, what I'm doing is I'm pushing this button right here and the settings pop up. All right. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the machine for real quick. You got the option to get a toggle switch if you'd like. I got mine set up where as soon as I plug mine in, mine turns on. You don't have to do that. If you want to take the extra time to drill a hole in it and put a toggle switch in there, you can. I just didn't do that because I wanted to keep it looking clean. So, and I don't play this thing a whole lot. I do enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but I usually play my other 2 machines more so than I play this one. So I just got it hooked up to where I just plug in. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in real quick. Okay. All right, so it's gonna power on. And you're gonna get your Pandora screen, okay? So I'm gonna bring it closer to the screen and the control panel so you can see what I'm doing when I'm navigating the menus or anything like that. Bring it a little closer for you guys. So at this point, we're ready to play. I mean, it's a thing where, like I said, you'll probably be out of like less than $200 to upgrade your machine. I definitely think it's worth it. Okay, so remember that settings button I was telling you about? I'm gonna go back to the settings because just so you know, when you get this Pandora box, it's gonna come out the box and it's gonna have every game's gonna be set to difficult, stuff like that. And this thing is loud. So I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. And all I'm doing is reaching inside my machine and turn that little knob. Okay, so the menu is pretty loud. I'll turn it down some. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys real quick how to navigate your settings. All right, so I got mine already set up. So you got a couple of menus here. You got your IO test, and basically what this is, it just tests your buttons. Okay, it's a button test. And I got my start set to here. So a start and A. So I know that A is right here, so I hold start and A, and I'll come out of it. That's how you come out of it. Custom button. Okay, this is just setting up your buttons however you want. I got mine good. So I'll put, it tells you up here what to do. So I don't want to change my button, so just hold start for 3 seconds. And oh, I messed up. So now I have to save it. I really don't want to save it. But okay, since I'm here, I'm just gonna show you guys how to set your buttons real quick. So all you do is go across where you want your button. So it's gonna look funny on the screen, but don't worry, it's gonna work. So just A, B, C. These are your kicks, D, E, and F. And when you're done, just hit start, and it's gonna save for you. Now what I did, the reason I went to this the first time, I held the button for too long. You hold it for 3 seconds, it's gonna go into the configuration. If you just hit it one time, it's gonna save for you, okay? Now, system config, whenever you wanna operate a menu, you hit the A button, all right? And that's gonna be your top button. So just notice this button right here. You can set it here how you want it. Credits 1 to 1, that's how I got mine set. Exit mode, hold start for 3 seconds. Pause menu on, auto exit off. And you can change these, you just go left and right, or hit the button here. You can change it however you want it. Quality optimization, scan lining off. I keep it off because you keep it on, it looks like crap, but that's your option if you want to do it. Game time 59 minutes, and this is if you're running it like a regular arcade machine. All right, and you can actually hook controllers to this if you want, but we're running an arcade machine, so don't worry about that. And when you're done, just hit the start button to come out of it. Okay, game settings. And this over here is where you got your difficulty, lives, edit games list, and all that stuff. So what I always do with these, I alter the difficulty, because when you play this, for some reason when these come, they're set to be at the hardest setting. Okay, so you get a few options you can play with, your lives, and then so A would change the difficulty of the game. I got all mine set to medium. Lives, how many lives you get, and unified set. The unified set button, what that means is when you push it, once you change, if I change make everything easy here, when I hit the C button for unified set, so I'm going to show you real quick. Difficulty, so I'm going to go into the game, pick a game, I'm going to go into it, and difficulty, okay, so you push the button to go left and right. So I'm playing Street Fighter EX Plus, I move over and you can change it right here, the difficulty, okay? Well, they're all set to 2. So we'll go back to that one, and it shows you difficulty. Now I hit the A button here, I can change it, and the difficulties goes up to 8. I keep mine at easy because I'm just playing for fun. Your lives, you hit the B button. This one you don't have lives because it's Street Fighter. But when you get down to here, you push the C button. Unified set means it makes all games in your library at the settings you put here. So if you got it easy here, all your games are going to be easy. All right. So if I go over and look over, all the games I got are set to easy. So I'm just playing just to play, okay? And that's it. When you're done, back button. When you come out, back button again. Bookkeeping, you don't gotta worry about really, because it's just basically if you're keeping coins and you're checking the coin box. Built-in speaker on, I got mine set to on, but it's blacked out because I got mine plugged in with a 3.5 jack. English, of course. Boot demo movies, excuse me. That means if you wanna let the game play, when you turn it on, it'll boot the movie. Save your settings and factory settings. So we're going to save our settings. All right. A to save. Yes. And it's going to take us back to the main screen. All right. Now I'll turn it up for you guys real quick so you can kind of hear what it sounds like. The thing does get loud, but I'll show you this real quick. So when you want to play a game, you got to add coins, because I got mine set to coins. You can put the free play if you want. I just want mine set to coins. I don't want free play on mine. And it has a whole stuff. I'll just scroll through. You got 2,800 games. So instead of scrolling through all the games, What you can do also, you can hit the start button. Okay, and what that does, it brings up this menu right here. Now you can search for a game if you'd like. So if I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for Dig Dug, right? I'll hit the A button and I'll just go to the thing, D I G, and they pop up. Now when I'm done, I go down here, hit OK, hit this button here, and now I'm ready to play it. You got to make sure you got tokens in here first. Don't push start to play, because if you push start, it's going to take you back to that menu. So you scroll down, you hit A. I'll turn it up a little bit. Now we got coins added, right? You just hit the start button. Okay. And you play like you normally would. Okay. And when you're done, when you say you don't want to play anymore, you want to play something else, hold down the start button. And it takes you back to the main menu. Okay. And you got a bunch of games you can choose from. Now that's one way to search, but they also got categories as well. So let's say I want to play a shooting game, right? So I just hit shooting, hit this button right here, and it actually goes over to, shows you all the games that are, and you see these icons next to the games. It's basically telling you what type of game it is. So it's a shooting game. So these are all my shooters. So when I want to come out, I hit the A button, and now I can cycle through all the shooting games. All right, and it's probably like hundreds of them. So we'll just do, just to show you guys, we'll do this one. I've never played this before, but make sure you got tokens in there. So if you don't guys set the free play like me, up here the live button, that's my coin button, and I hit start. So I messed up, I hit start, so that takes me back here. That's why I was saying you want to always go to, whenever you're there shooting, you want to hit the A button to be able to, it's kind of as your go-to button, basically saying that you're giving a command. So I lost the game, so we'll just do good old Gunbird. Gunbird's always a good time. I turn up a little bit. And you do get a loading screen on it, especially if you want. And you have a save option here if you want. I don't bother with that, but you can. We'll just play a little bit, but that's pretty much it, guys. That's the gist of it. And the reason I elected to go with Jamma is because you really don't get a lot of lag on here. I know a lot of people use you can put a Raspberry Pi in here if you want. That's an option. But the thing with the Pi, what I didn't like, unless you're going to spend big money now and you're going to get a Brooks converter or something like that, you're going to get a ton of lag. I know you got those zero delay converters, but they lag really, really bad. Trust me on that one. So if you're going to do the machine, if you're just like wanting to mess around, I mean, a converter is fine. The little zero converters, they're like $10 or something like that. But if you want something that's going to give you a bunch of arcade, because remember, with this, you're not playing like high-end games. You're playing small games that are going to fit in this 4x3 window. That's the point in having this. That's what makes it so cool. It's a throwback, in my opinion, to an old 4x3 setting. So you're not going to be playing like higher-end games like Mortal Kombat 1 or Guilty Gear Strive. You're not going to be playing that on this. You can, but it's going to be all smashed in, and you got to get the converter boards, and now you're talking big money for a little machine like this. So I think the best of both worlds is probably getting the Jamma, getting the Pandora box, and you get 2,800 games, arcade games. And I know some of them don't run as good, but for the most part, every game I ran across ran pretty good. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. That's pretty much what I did to my arcade 1-up. Let me know in the comments below. You know, if you have any questions about it, if you're like stuck on something, just leave me a comment in the bottom. I'll try my best to answer it. Let me know what you think about if you're really wanting to venture out and, you know, tinker with your machine, because I mean, they're great machines. I mean, they're they get a bad rep sometimes, but if you make it nice and modify it, it's a nice little starter machine. Okay, obviously I got 2 other machines I mess with, bigger machines, but a nice easy intro to modifying arcade machines. I think the Arcade 1UP does it perfectly. I mean, you can find them, they're available, and you really don't have to do a lot to them, and they still turn out cool like this. I mean, this is a nice little starter arcade machine to have in your man cave or woman cave, you know, whatever, whoever you are wanting to build arcade machines. All right, guys, so with that one, it's going to do it. As always, take care of yourself, protect your inner peace, and God bless. Catch you on the next one.